No need. Dangerous pass, though, Bob.
And into the front court, Neumann Goretti with the basketball. Cameron Young to the hole, no call, and O'Donnell will come up with it. 5:12 to play, 50-34. We're back up here, had a momentary stoppage here. We're on a new link, but it should be routing to the same YouTube channel as well as Twitter page and Facebook page.
Bob, once again, it was Horace Simmons getting himself involved in that last possession, frustrating Cameron Young going to the bucket, disrupting the look. And now LaSalle, another chance here. And that foul total, Bob, got to keep an eye on it, up at 6 for the Saints.
There's Simmons, had trouble catching it. And Neumann Goretti's going to come up with it. Again, Horace Simmons gets in great position, a bit of a bobble. The big thing there, Joe.
Really nice inbounds play underneath the basket, a box 2 look, not able to convert for the Explorers. You got to grab it first before you go up with it. Look it in, then convert. One more time.
And brought down again by Neumann Goretti. They'll run the break. What a pass that is. Big time. Timeout called there by the head coach, Carl Arragale, as Jordan Hall throws it down.
And just so much speed. The amount of space that Jordan Hall covers just in that full gallop to the basket. And we joked about it early on, 6'8". You think, power forward, working near the basket. But he does so many things away, and he wants the ball. He wants the ball in his hands. A really good distributor of the basketball we've seen today, creating opportunities for Jordan Hall and Hyzier Miller. I'm really impressed. I think St. Joe's has themselves one heck of a talent coming their way next season.
This portion of today's game brought to you by Carrie Guerin Boyle, Jim McLaughlin of the Carrie Guerin Boyle team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Fox and Roach Realtors. Both Jim and Carrie's families have been associated with Salle for generations, and certainly you can trust that you'll be treated like family when buying or selling your home with this real estate team. You can call Jim at 267-242-5991 or Carrie at 267-626-6818 for any real estate questions. Licensed in PA and New Jersey. Again, sorry, folks, the guest network crapped out on us, but it's back up now. We're back online, so appreciate those that have been able to find us, and we'll get a full, uncut version of this game out in the later stages of the afternoon. But again, we're back on the Bob Long Sports Twitter page, back on the LaSalle College High School Facebook page after a momentary stoppage here, as well as the YouTube page on Bob Long Sports.
Bob, reading an article about the matchup Friday night between Roman and Neumann Goretti, and I apologize, I don't have the name of the article written down in front of me, but credit to the author in terms of identifying the way this Neumann team is constructed, very similar to the 2015 squad with Lamar Kimball, Quade Green, and Zane Martin in terms of a balanced contribution. You're seeing that again today, maybe a little bit more quiet day than you're used to out of Hakeem Bird. So who steps up and picks up that pace? Hyzier Miller. So many different strong basketball players, Division I basketball players that are dominant at this level.
3:52 to play. Neumann Goretti in no hurry. You get a great look from the corner. Hall, why not? He is dynamite from beyond the arc. Like you said, Joe, doesn't matter who it is for this Neumann Goretti team. And before we went on the air last year, a game that LaSalle actually won. It was a marquee win for this Mike McKee coached team. Aaron Carter was telling us that this might be the most balanced team that Arragale has had. He didn't say the best, he said the most balanced. That was last year. That was a team that went to the semifinals of the Catholic League, and what a hop that is in there for Jake Timby. Counted for 3, full timeout on the floor, 55-37. But the point there, Joe, is that they didn't lose a ton. You know, you think about Ja'Cour Smith, of course, Christian Ings, tremendous players. But Hakeem Bird has been able to come in and take that role that Ings had. And obviously 2 better than 1. But now Miller comes in and is able to be that second guard alongside there. You add the additional length of Blaze Vespi playing a much bigger role. And all of a sudden, I think you have a better Neumann Goretti team than you had last year, even though there's no Ings on the floor.
Well, what I find, like almost like a case study in terms of ways to build a successful high school basketball program. You look at the 2 teams atop the Philadelphia Catholic League in Archbishop Wood and Neumann Goretti, and what do they both have in common? Teams with experience. you look on the other side of the flip side of the coin, and you have a team like the Explorers really only bringing back one player in Jake Timby, and it's an uphill battle. But what you see is opportunities for other younger players to start getting time that they might not otherwise have had with a team as solidified as seniors last year with LaSalle. So you have players like Jennings, players like Simmons, Caleb Bryant, Nick Sverano, all these players getting valuable playing time against big time talent in this Philadelphia Catholic League. That all pays off. But it leads to situations like today where that firepower may not be there to match a team like the Saints.
Hasn't been there yet today. However, like you said, this Neumann Goretti team is special, and the experience that these guys will get now will tell LaSalle a little bit about what they're going to be long term. The other thing to throw out there, Joe, is this junior varsity team for LaSalle took down Neumann Goretti in the early part of this afternoon. Here's an open three for Bird. No good, but there is Evans on the weak side, Miller on the recoil, and a bit short. But the point there being, Joe, is that the freshmen, Horace Simmons, Caleb Bryant, guys that will get some time, Jennings the sophomore, there are also some really good freshmen and sophomores on the JV team. As nice finish there by Holland, that will continue to get more and more time. They're great players, but they're maybe not quite ready for the varsity level yet. Again. As Cameron Young tries to throw it down but couldn't. But that's the point there, Joe, is that they're guys that got great experience this afternoon. There are freshmen and sophomores that will play key roles on this LaSalle team when they're juniors and seniors that you don't see out on the floor today. And that's the point. That's part of the plan. That's part of the restructure here with this team after 7 seniors departed.
Yeah, senior-laden team. You nailed it exactly right, Bob. A senior-laden team last season for LaSalle creates opportunities now for underclassmen at both the JV and varsity level to come up, get time, get experience, and the key to that is taking advantage of it. And for these underclassmen to realize the opportunity that they're having. I think you're seeing that in Horace Simmons, no doubt about it. Nick Sverano, these young guys looking to find their own ways to make contributions amongst the seniors, Timby and Shane Holland amongst a few.
This is a very good foul here by Shane Holland. Hall was up all alone, not a clear path. Only the 6th team foul, not shooting. And I think that's what you got to do on something like that. It is amazing, though. It doesn't have to be a turnover. We mentioned that before. Neumann Goretti can turn a long rebound into a full-on odd-man rush transition opportunity.
Well, that all comes down to speed. The ability to break out and get into transition in a hurry, and that's not always something you really can teach. That's more innate, and playing together is a big part of that. Knowing where to fill lanes and get out in front.
Rebound, no, and that is a clobber there underneath, as Liam O'Donnell was not going to let Cameron Young finish that on the 2nd attempt.
Yeah.
Watch O'Donnell here take a nice chunk.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a good foul. No doubt. Clean foul, good foul. No opportunity to score there for Young other than by the free throw line. But, you give credit on one hand, but Cameron Young, 2 offensive boards in that possession alone. A key for LaSalle, you can't make mistakes, can't turn the ball over, obviously, but contained within that thought is you can't give them extra looks. Too many extra looks today for Neumann.
Well, that's really the story. We've talked a lot about this LaSalle team. The offense has had its struggles, but generally speaking, the defense has been good all year long, and I would say the same here today, Joe. It's really the turnovers, the transition opportunities that have been the difference. But in the half court, I think Neumann Goretti, to a man, would tell you LaSalle took them out of their game a little bit.
Yeah, and I think the only 2 players that I would say had a truly, 2-par half-court offense game would be Jordan Hall and Hazir Miller. I don't think Hakeem Bird's impact was as potentially high as it could have been, due in part to the defensive Shane Holland and Jake Timby. But, you look at the 2 players that did make their impact felt, and that's Jordan Hall and Hazir Miller. What do? They knock down threes.
It's a good job in there by Liam O'Donnell, but unfortunately right back to Roman Catholic, and it's a foul called. One more look, LaSalle campaign a bit for potentially a jump ball.
Yeah, I think they got to be careful with that there. The little extra activity underneath.
Tell you what, that looked pretty good. Nick Verano's on the strip, though. First free throw good there from Cameron Young, who's really tallying it up here in the second half with the 4 fouls, by the way.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You can give him 14 for the day. A perfect 7 of 7. Now 8 of 8 from the free throw line to extend that Neumann Goretti lead up to 22. And finally, some of the reserves coming in for the Saints. I guess the 22-point cushion was enough with a minute to play.
Here's Holland. He'll step back and hit it. Good bucket there by Shane Holland. Miller still out there as he's double teamed, and they're able to get it across the timeline. Hurst, a good move. And they'll pull it back, 37 seconds left. And O'Donnell fouled, and you hear an audible why here in the stands. I don't think that's the idea. I think you are trying to poke that from behind.
You're trying to get it loose, yep.
Certainly. I mean, I respect the guys playing it to the end, which you should do.
There can be a little judicial discretion there as well if the officials decide to keep that that whistle in the pocket.
That's exactly right. No problem whatsoever.
I don't think you're going to hear anything from the Neumann sideline. Have to be satisfied with just a really strong campaign, a season put together so far. They're going to continue this dominant record in the Philadelphia Catholic League, stretching out to 7-0, 13-2 overall. Bob, this is a very, very impressive high school basketball team. Great program and a very impressive team this year, which says a lot when you're talking about the caliber of talent that's on this team year in and year out.
No two ways about it. They will be a tough out all the way to the Palestra if they're fortunate to get there. Holland from the elbow, it's good. 22 seconds left, some full court pressure, a double team. Miller threw it. Jackson Conroy nearly able to come away with it, and he'll pull it back. 11 seconds, and Hasir Miller looks content to dribble this one out, down under 5. And Neumann Goretti wins this one 62-43 on LaSalle's silent night. They stay unbeaten here in the Catholic League and remain the team to beat here in the PCL.
Yeah, no two ways to cut it, Bob. It's a two. Listen, everybody's going to recognize that Roman, Carroll, O'Hara, all very much a part of this race. But right now, in terms of the unbeaten, it's a two-horse race with Archbishop Wood, Neumann Goretti. Goretti going to extend themselves out to 7-0 on the season, and just a lot to like for this Neumann Goretti team. I feel like we're pouring it on. I'm pouring it on a little bit in terms of the respect, but I just see a lot of fundamentally sound basketball players out there that play unselfishly, create opportunities, and when you have a player like Hasir Miller, a junior, coming off the bench for you, I don't know that you can construct a team much better than that. You combine that with a coach that's been doing this a long time very effectively, and you can see why they're going to be a really tough out at the Palestra in a couple short weeks.
It is unbelievable, isn't it, how close we are getting, Joe?
It goes by in a hurry.
Philadelphia Catholic League basketball playoff time, and as we mentioned, this team, a little bit of work ahead of themselves, but there's absolutely the pathway there. Next up for us is a trip to Bonner Prendergast High School on January 24th at 7 p.m. Back here next Sunday, same time, same place, as they take on an upstart and frankly really, really good Archbishop Carroll team with length in the front court. And then off to Roman Catholic the following Friday for a 7 o'clock p.m. start at that wonderful gym over there, Roman Catholic. And then they head to Archbishop Wood, a really fun place to play in its own right. You know, between Bonner next Friday, Joe, which is the coolest little venue that the Catholic League has to offer. Roman Catholic, which is kind of a quirky little venue, but again, a lot of history in that building. We're going to be there, by all accounts, calling that game. And then Archbishop Wood, which I don't know that we've called a game in, you and I, before, Joe. It'll be fun to get out there, hopefully. Those are going to be some fun ones to go to, but the challenges do await this LaSalle team. And then the big game for the year, every year really, but St. Joe's Prep comes to LaSalle for the ender for the season, a game that could have huge playoff implications. It's going to be a fun run down the stretch, Joe.
No doubt. A lot can happen between now and then. Like we said, one win for the Explorers could be huge, and it could be the difference between getting that extra game in at the end of the season, an opportunity to keep on playing, or an early spring.
Joe Winning, good to be with you as always. Silent night, a success for the students. They got their rowdiness in, and certainly it gave the Explorers a bit of a momentum shift here, but Neumann Goretti, a bit too much start to finish. A tremendous program, a great coach there in Carl Arregale, and tremendous talent out there on the floor. Until next Friday, he's Joe. I'm Bob. Thanks to Keegan O'Donnell for helping us out on camera today. Your final, Neumann Goretti 62, LaSalle 43. You've been watching Explorer Basketball here on Bob Long Sports.